it's Dan. Welcome back. You're watching iAllegedly, and I've got a good one for you today. So much is happening in the economy, and we get all this news about energy and how energy prices are exploding. So there's a ton of stuff to cover. That, banking, a little bit of everything. And today I'm at Ted Craig Regional Park in a city called Brea, California.
Hey guys.
Big, expansive park.
Yep, Robert Sagano GTII is looking very good. So are all you guys. I don't know. I may move now. Get a little bit better position. There, that's a little bit better. Okay. I didn't see AMC, but I believe you. Lion thing. You're free again. Who could ever put chains on you? Wow, the whole thing is Amazon's going to buy the theaters. What would Amazon buy the theaters for? So they can deliver seats at home? They can pick you up at home and deliver you to the seat? Yeah, I like him too, NR. He's not a big hypester, you know, and anyway, he's pretty good. There's another guy I listen to too. 50 cents off a put. I like that. I don't know, Yasmin, if MMTLP is going to settle. You know, I'm a lot less sanguine about it trading, and then all our problems are solved, but we'll find out. Hey, Basamo, the worst thing to do in options is make money on your first trade. Hey, James Cipriano. Christian, MMTLP will languish in nowhere land for a while. Yeah, I did a logic interview, but we could do another one. Let me... GTII is 229 to 230. The gentleman that yesterday, I think it was yesterday, posted, or Monday, that there was big news coming on, or Monday was yesterday, big news coming from West Christian, re-upped his post today. I don't see any news yet, but maybe, who knows. It's nice volume. I think it's terrific that the stock is staying above 225, but 230, stay above that might be better. I'll do an interview with Logic. The stock's down a little bit, but I really think that's unexplainable to me. Maybe there's still some leftover shorting going on. But what I said about it when it was 49 cents goes for it when it's 39 cents. And all good. GoLogic just had good news. GoLogic just announced at 2 o'clock that they're going to acquire boutique investment manager Bateau. And I think bateau is boat in French, I think. It's either that or cake. but I think cake is gâteau. And hat is chapeau. It's like those French have a different word for everything. So they're going to acquire boutique investment manager Bateau Asset Management, providing entry to Southeast Asian fund management market. I just think that's so terrific. Southeast Asia, parts of Africa, India. These are the big, and the Middle East. These are big pockets of young people, well-educated, dreaming the dream. And Bateau Asset Management brings well-established global client base of high net worth individuals, family offices, nonprofit organizations, and other institutional clients. 4 global investment funds, go global. Highly experienced global client services team based in Australia and Singapore. Research and advisory capabilities which complement GoLogic's fintech platform. March 28th, GoLogic, a US-based global provider of fintech and consumer data analytics, has entered into a non-binding letter of intent to acquire a controlling interest in Australia-based Bateau Asset Management, a boutique global investment manager. The acquisition would further expand GoLogic's presence into Southeast Asia, complementing its planned acquisition of Sydney-based CPG Research Advisory and its existing North American fintech platform. Since 2016, Bateau has offered an absolute return investment philosophy delivered by a multi-manager approach to investing. Anyway, services include investment research and education with the objective of providing clients rigorously constructed absolute return portfolios that they can understand. The company serves a range of clients from high net worth individuals and family offices to nonprofit organizations and other institutions. It maintains an experienced advisory team based in Perth and Singapore, which is supported by a robust compliance and corporate governance team with a strong client services ethos. Bateau provides GoLogic with a transformational opportunity to significantly expand our position in one of the world's most dynamic investment markets. You have to agree with that. And strengthen our focus on meeting the increasingly complex capital needs of clients around the world, stated interim CEO Brent Soon. Bateau's professionals share with GoLogic deep experience and skills, flexibility, and innovative thinking, along with culture of investment excellence focused on delivering long-term value for its stakeholders. Stuart Haley, managing director at Bateau, said, GoLogic offers Bateau an optimal partnership for growing our business and investing in complementary adjacent strategies that would leverage GoLogic's considerable expertise and distribution capabilities within the United States. We look forward to working closely with our new partners, drawing on our collective strengths as we expand together and expand together into new strategic and complementary products across geographies. GoLogic will acquire 100% of Bateau in an all-stock transaction. GoLogic would issue common shares to Bateau shareholders valued at US $24 million. The parties anticipate the acquisition to close in the second quarter of 2023. Bateau follows GoLogic's recent acquisition of Gamma Ray, which brought to GoLogic a profitable business driven by an estimated 20 million annualized revenue run rate and nearly 800 million in customer financial assets. It also introduced a pipeline of accretive and or tech-enabling acquisition targets, including CPG research advisory. GoLogic also reported that it has begun the process of applying to list on a senior U.S. stock exchange. The listing would be subject to approval based on several factors, including the satisfaction of minimum listing requirements. The company believes it meets the reporting, governance, and qualitative requirements, including net shareholder equity and market capitalization. While GoLogic expects Bateau transaction to be completed as anticipated, a definitive agreement has yet to be signed and no assurances can be given it will be executed or the transaction will be completed as described. When such a definitive agreement would mutually be signed, the details would be made available in a Form 8-K to be filed with the SEC. All right. I think I read enough on that. They should put so GTII is up 6 cents, 229, 230, 671,000. It's great. It's great trading going on. Frank Anastasio, I think you're being reasonable in one more day, but I think you're also being optimistic. I'll tell you why you're being optimistic. The criminals did a ploy, the old closet ploy. They did a ploy by having their attorney resign, so they may go into the judge and say, we need more time because we don't have representation. I think that won't fly, but it's a risk that the judge gives more time so they can find alternative representation. The other problem that I see is once the judge makes her ruling, FINRA steps in and expels, I assume that's what they would do, expels Alpine. Then the SEC has to rule on it. And that time was extended until April 5th, 2023. So that's next week. But still, it's the same basic concept. All right, let me see what the price is. 230. All right, let me see. Hey, Justice. Hey, Jennifer. He said they halted MMTLP because it would have opened at 100 times the price. Wow. Any ideas, Lee Wills? Any ideas when we will know if they satisfied the NSCC for GTI? Probably they didn't satisfy it, and not legal advice. Richard gave a really good update with his lawsuit against Fidelity, DTCC, and FINRA. All right, I'll try to look it up. Hey, Jenny L. Wow, it was to open at 300. Wayward Ninja, that would have been pounceable. Quite pounceable. If the shorts are not required to close, then there's no point in opening trading. There you go, Susan. What's your thoughts on CRTD's merger with BCII? BCII? I have to look that one up. Jeff Nickel, I'll take $10 to buy GTI with it. Hey, Fahad. D. Croteau, hearing one of your fellow YouTubers saying $40 to $60 high for GTII. No way in the hundreds or thousands. See, I'll be the first to tell you he has a crappy show. I don't know. I don't know who you're talking about. My guess you're talking about Avid, and Avid does extremely well, and I trust Avid. He's more conservative. If you're talking about somebody else, I don't know who it is. And everybody's got noses. Any thoughts on the GPT-A1 results regarding GTII? That was interesting. Is that the one where it said it could go to 4,000? I like that it confirms my numbers. I originally said 4 or 5,000, and then I've even gone higher. I'm sorry. In a spike, it's in a spike. Wow, MULN. So everything has its day. Let me look up this CRTD news that I was unaware of. Well, see, I think that may have been what Jeremy had to weigh that we didn't know about. They may have said, we don't want you merging with GTII. All right, so let's read it. Created and BCII Enterprises, Inc. execute a joint venture. The jointly owned technology platform is in early stages of development. Created will be contributing access to its nearly 2 million Vocal and Vocal Plus creators, reaching an audience of 200 million from its flagship social media product, Vocal. BCII and Created are committed to protect data privacy and provide platform solutions for users to monetize their most valuable asset. I guess that's their brain. All right, so Created, the parent company of Vocal, today announced it has signed a joint venture with BCII Enterprises, Inc., with Created controlling 51% and BCII controlling 49% of the jointly owned technology platform. The platform will leverage BCII's yourinfo.com technology and empower individuals to monetize their personal data and make informed decisions about its use. BCII's product, yourinfo.com's expertise in data privacy and security solutions will be leveraged to potentially offer users different levels of protection at varying costs. Users can opt into selling specific data to companies. This opportunity can take place in multiple ways, from a simple opting in to being paid for taking quizzes and completing surveys. The revenue generated for the platform will depend on market demand, competition, and development costs. A commission of 10 to 30% is typically charged on revenues generated from data protection platforms. The future platform offers significant opportunity to generate new revenue streams for both companies while producing value to users. The jointly owned technology platform is expected to launch later this year, and further updates will be provided in due course. Quote, we are excited to partner with BCII to create a platform empowering individuals to control and monetize their data while offering data privacy solutions. With our expertise, we can generate new revenue streams for both companies. In addition to the fundamental opportunity, the potential to spin off shares of CRTD/BCII directly to CRTD shareholders creates another corporate action in our ongoing battle against the shorts. Updates on the joint venture's progress will follow. Let's just look up BCII. I don't even know if it's public. Looks to be public. So it's a 7 cent stock. Chart's turning upward. It's been as high as 23 cents and as low as 2 cents. I don't know what to think. I'm wondering if it has cash. It'd be nice if it had some cash. So it's a 7 cent stock. And over the course of it's not heavily shorted, although it was on March 21st. There was an update they gave in October. I don't know if they gave one sooner. They have a data capsule is their product. And they have partners for NFT marketplace. BCII believes it will be the first platform to allow individuals, corporations, and assets to act as a bridge between the Web 2.0 world of Meta, Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, Netflix, Google, and Uber, and all websites that these entities frequently visit to the Web 3.0 world of ownership of all your information and its monetization by those entities. The data aggregated by the Web 2.0 companies is owned by these entities. YourInfo.com's technology aggregates the data legally owned by the entities and creates a data capsule. YourInfo.com then provides NFTs to allow a set number of keys to trade to allow access to the data capsule. This allows advertiser curiosity seekers and speculators to see the data. The NFT marketplace will auction off the NFT key. This process allows the Web 2.0 world to continue to agglomerate the data for their use, but allow the direct use by the owners of the data. This is the bridge from Web 2.0 to Web 3.0. I gotta admit to you, my eyes glazed over just reading it, but it sounds to me, data is hugely valuable. So it sounds to me it could be quite exciting. It's hard to analyze this from scratch. there's no news on. Well, anyway, I would say it looks like a good deal. I know it's a sleepy time story. I was falling asleep. Um, Jenny L has tons of clothes. How do you know, Stony Bones? And I mean, Lion of all trades. Um, Let me see if there's some data on Yahoo for the company. I just want to see if it has some cash. I'm sure it probably doesn't, but let's see. It's got a $15 million market cap. So they were merging basically 50-50. And that's about right. Now that Jeremy's trading under 15 cents. Wow. How to implode a stock price. Okay, shares outstanding 42 million. No profits, obviously. Revenue 1.6 million. But it says there's gross profit of 1.25 million. But negative net income. Total cash 1.12 million. So that might be a good transaction. I think GTII is doing its sort of 2-3 days of sideways action before a move upward. I think the catalysts in GTI this week will be whatever the news is that West Christian has. I think Alpine's news will probably be next week if it's significant. And I think the 1-800 law firm is on schedule, which is supposed to be on or around April 1. So I'm going to guess if it is in fact on schedule, it'll be next week. Well, I'm looking at the equipment that I got to improve all this. It's warming up. It hasn't hooked up yet. So it may be. I'm sorry that the technician has to come on Thursday, but I'm going to keep trying to work on it. I just wanted to come live first. If it gets working tonight or tomorrow morning, we should not have any glitches ever again. It would be announced, but Steven Rosenberg, Bernie Madoff told me several times that FINRA and Mary Shapiro are a, quote, joke. FINRA is still a criminal joke. Absolutely. I mean, Stephen, everyone says don't bring politics in, so I'll try not to, but everything comes down to politics. Bill Clinton bought the canard that industry could self-regulate. It's like having children self-regulate their consumption of milkshakes or jelly beans or something. I don't know. I just... Well, via war, hey, Pete the Greek, I think news will matter via Warrior in the sense that it's got to register with the criminals that they're not going to be able to get the stock down to HPIL levels or to drive it down like they did with CRTD originally or did with GNS originally or did with, trying to think of other companies, GTLL, DBMM, they won't be able to do it. Yeah, I like that idea, Lee. I don't know, Kill V Horner, what's a reasonable number? Up, I think, is the most reasonable number I can come up with is up. An email from Charles Schwab liquidating his account. Yeah, I saw that, Tom M. I saw the explanation by one person that it's because of the merger with TD Ameritrade. Maybe TD Ameritrade doesn't want to assume the risks of failed to delivers in Schwab because they already have a big problem of their own. Lee Wills has it. He's like Lee Majors. He's been built back, stronger, better, faster. Yeah, that was a sleepy news story. Yeah, I'm feeling a little tired myself. Tired and bored with myself. I get up in the morning. I look in the mirror. DZNTZ. I can't. My hair, my nose, my face. I'm GTII. I can't start a fire. Can't start a fire without a spark. This gun's for hire. We'll be dancing in the dark. Yeah, I'd love it to hit 4,000. Hey, Ann. Oh no, I don't. It could go back to 09, but I don't think it will. Hey, Cherie. Well, there's a alignment of all these planets in the moon, so maybe that's why Maybe that's why there's a change in the energy. I wish you could just plug things in and it wouldn't be so difficult. Doesn't look like that's working over there. So I've got to figure out what I did wrong. GTII is 235, up 11 cents, 234 to 235, high in the day 235, trading like a champ. And by the way, whoever said that, somebody on YouTube is saying it won't go past 40 or 50, might be right, could be wrong. Could be wrong, but it could be right. So that's why you have to use your judgment, your own judgment about taking money off the table. Remember, it's not money until you sell. You got to leave enough money on the table for the next guy to believe that he's getting the bargain of his lifetime. And you're not going to get it right. Yeah, each one has its own gravitational pull. But I wonder what interrupts it. I wonder what interrupts it. Well, son, if you've got 3 shorts, short number 1, shorts. Short number 2, shorts. By buying that one, short at a profit. So that position is closed out. Short number 3 comes in and closes that guy's position out. So these two have profits. This guy's at risk. And if there's a short number 4, they drive it down by buying this guy out, and then they're short. So these first 3 all have profits. This one's still exposed. If it starts to move up, they cover it at a small loss, and then all 5 split the profits, the net profits. That's how the criminals work. So they keep shorting because they keep making money. It's very little risk to them. They just sell stock that doesn't exist. A friend of theirs sells stock that doesn't exist, but does it by buying the position that they created out of thin air. They buy it out of thin air with stock they sold. And it just keeps going on in that direction. And they strip, if they can strip 10, 20, 40,000 a day out of the market, why not? That's why they keep doing it. They're not gonna quit on their own. They're gonna keep doing it till they're forced to quit. So it doesn't matter if they know that Alpine's gonna go down or not. No one knows that Alpine's going to go out of business. In my judgment, Alpine played a trick on the judge. They had their attorney resign. So they're going to go before the judge and say, we need an attorney. And the judge might say, you know what? You gave to Joe Biden's reelection campaign. We'll give you another year. I don't know. So no one knows for sure that Alpine's going to go out. It's more of a fervent hope. But even if Alpine goes out, as long as whoever takes them over continues to allow the selling, they'll keep doing it. The criminals are just going to constantly do. There's no risk to it. They're just moving fake shares around amongst themselves, stripping cash out of the market. No one regulates it. Gary Gensler is more concerned with Kim Kardashian's digital currency or Lindsay Lohan's. He doesn't go after the men. He had a crush on Blankman fraud until that went out of the way. But I mean, they were actually working together to try to create something, Goldman Sachs and Blankman fraud, or one of the bankers. But you can keep asking. They're not going to stop till they lose money. Every day you see it. I'm sure you look up because you've been told about it so many times that you're not that lazy that you wouldn't look. But you go to OTC markets. It's free. Doesn't cost you anything. OTCmarkets.com. You type in GTII. And you can see the bids. The bids are OTCX, ETRF, Citadel, CSDI, GTSM, and Knight. You can go to the ask. I don't even have to look. GTSM, Citadel, OTCX, ETRF, INTL is a different one. Knight's all the way down. The ETRF has 10,000 shares for sale, which are all fake. They're not real. That'll disappear. And ETRF has 5,000. That's equally unlikely. So all they're doing, I don't know how to explain it. They're just moving fake shares around at different prices. They're spoofing, which is illegal. They're crossing, which is illegal. They're manipulating the market price, which is illegal. They're communicating with each other, which is illegal. But Gary Gensler doesn't care. It's legalized theft. And Gary Gensler went to good schools. He must be intelligent, or he's really naive, but it's right here. So why they keep doing it? They'll keep doing it until the stock stops trading. Because if they can sell stock at 234, get it down to 230, cover it, that's 4 cents. If they can sell it at 234 and it breaks to 224, that's 10 cents a share. And then with each of their friends keeping the pressure down, and the fact that there's no stop to the flood of counterfeit shares. You do not have to locate shares. You can just crime. Gary Gensler isn't going to do anything. No one's going to do anything. So you continue to sell. It's a self-fulfilling process. You manage it as it walks back up. And at the end of the day, you split 30,000, 50,000, 100,000 amongst all the criminals, and you go back at it the next day. And they've been doing it for 2.5 years. Why would they stop? There's no reason to stop. Just because Alpine's going down? No reason. Just keep doing it until Alpine goes down. Take as much out as you can, screwing the prime broker, stiffing the taxpayer, stiffing the you guys, the market, and no one cares. Just sell 100,000 shares at 235, cover it at 230, $50,000. It's yours to take out. Wire it to the Cayman Islands, 50 grand. Boom, split it up amongst the criminals. Do it day in, day out, day in, day out. Well, yeah, sure, there'll be losses, but guess where they get placed? They get placed with the prime broker. When it all falls down, the prime broker eats it. If they can't afford it, The brokerage firms eat it, and ultimately you eat it. You're the ultimate patsy in this story, not the brokerage firms. And it's allowed by Gary Gensler. Shocking to me, but that he allows it. He doesn't care. So anyway, Song, that's why they keep doing it. It's profitable. Day by day by day by day by day, it's profitable. That's why they keep doing it. Why does a pimp keep beating up women and putting them on the street? He makes money. Why does a hitman keep murdering people? He makes money. Why does a drug dealer keep selling drugs? Even though there's a risk they could be arrested, they're making money. The reason the short sellers keep selling stock out of the thin air is because they make money each and every day. They use one LLC, they sell, they get somebody else to cover it for them. In a second LLC, that LLC gets their position covered by the third LLC, and then the fourth. They hope to get you to panic and drive it down, and then they can cover a little bit. But to the extent that they have to work it out slowly on the way back up, they're always creating new shares out of thin air at higher prices. So they walk it up slowly and they manage their losses. And if they can if 5 or 6 of them working in unison can make 100 or 200 grand in a day, they chop it up at the end. That's why they keep doing it. They don't care if Alpine's going to go out. They'll do it right up to the last day. And if somebody else steps in the place of Alpine, great. I forget the other part of your question. 230 to 233, 5,245. 231 to 234, 600 by 1150. Yeah, there you go. Who is this? Skydog. You hit it on the head, William. Even with all the lawsuits and pressure, the shorts are trying to pull out as much as they can until someone stops them. They'll keep going. Absolutely. Vansi is correct too. The end seems to be near, since they can't drive it down anymore, and no more shake, meaning it in rocket formation. Yeah, it could be. I think it looks really good. Jenny L has a good explanation. Look, it is no different than when your bank card has been stolen. They charge a penny a few times before you notice, but then they've done that to 300 million people. That's 3 million a day. There was that bank robbery movie with Wesley Snipes and anyway, I forget now. There's so many bank movies, but they just stole pennies from every account. They got $1 billion out of the accounts. It was with Jason Stratham, or however you say his name. He married a hot chick, Jessica Biel. Steven Rosenberg, you hit it on the head. As mob boss Carmine Persico told Bernie Madoff and myself when I explained how much money illegal naked shorters were making. Quote, I was in the wrong business. Do you look on Doco? I'm just concerned. I don't even know what Doco is. I didn't block you, Karen. I don't know what you're... The crimes have been allowed for a very long time by the SEC, Crazy World says. It's nothing new, just seems more noticeable because many new reinvestors in the last... That's exactly right, Crazy World. Just because we are all seeing it doesn't mean it's new. It's been going on a long, 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 long time. And so far, they've always been able to settle with certain kinds of attorneys. So they settle up keep the money. And Nikshu Naharia. So I guess from what William is saying, GTI probably won't squeeze. That's not what I'm saying, Nikunj. It's not what I'm saying. I can't promise you it's going to squeeze, but that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the criminals will not voluntarily stop. They just won't. So what will stop them is either price action to the upside, which causes massive losses, and they can't meet the margin calls, so there's buy-ins. That's one. Two, the FBI, the lawsuit going on with Alpine or West Christian's actions could cause compliance officers, even in criminal organizations, say no more selling, no more taking orders unless you know that the stock's been located for sales of GTII. That would stop the downward pressure, and then get the price up, and then you get buy-ins. But I'm not saying. But listen, Nikunji Haria, if you're feeling ill at ease, the stock's got a lot of volume right now at 234. There's other stocks out there to invest in that won't have this kind of volatility normally. But my own opinion, Nikunj, is the entire stock market may go up, but then it's in for a collapse that we've never seen. So you might as well bet on something here in GTII where you know as much information as you possibly can know, Nikunj. You know it's one trapped short seller. You know it's 325 million counterfeited shares. You know that 1-800 law firm's coming. You know that possibly Treno Mines is coming. You know they keep selling. Yes, they keep selling. Yes, they keep selling. They keep making the problem bigger. You know that. You know that the Kramers have run out of money and Alpine took over the accounts. You know that Alpine has been sanctioned by FINRA and Alpine is fighting back and the time's running up April 5th. You know that Alpine, it specifically said in the documents that Alpine ran afoul of the short concentration rule, whatever it was called, in GTII. You know all these things. You know management's not going to strike a deal with the criminals. You know management isn't going to do a toxic financing. You know management, the CEO bought shares locking up his entire position. You know a lot of things here, Nikunjaharia. But if you want to focus on it, not squeezing, I just really recommend take the opportunity to get out while there's volume and while there's a bid. Pete the Greek, why are we even trying? What's the wish here? Well, again, just like I said to Nikunj, you don't have to stay in it. The shorts are shorting every single over-the-counter stock. Every single one is being destroyed. I don't think what GNS is doing is going to work. I won't break it down. I don't think what COSM did is going to work. CRTD is trying a different tactic. It might work. There's only one company that is doing everything it can on your side to force a squeeze, and it's GTII. They're making every decision in your best interest to force a squeeze. Will it work? I have no idea. So, Pete, I would give the same advice. If you have doubts, I really strongly suggest you get out while there's volume. The fact that GTII is distributing dividends, bringing in upstream, not the others. GTII brought that in first. GTII bringing in West Christian. They're doing everything they can to cause the system to regurgitate real shares of GTII all at once. Demand for it. And that's where the squeeze comes. But if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. So I really, Pete, Brian, is there no hope? Yeah, Brian, if you feel that way, please get out of the stock. Jorge, down to 231. Yet, Jorge, it's above it's 4 o'clock. It's above 230. It closes at 232. And that's just a massive close to be above 220, to be above 225, but to be above 230, in my judgment, that's a breakout. And your next move could be 250, 275, 3 very quickly, and then I think 455, 550. That's right, JL. Yeah, I'm sorry, science rules. My arithmetic is always wrong. Always wrong. I said 100,000 shares at 0.05, so it's $5,000. You're right. But you get my point. They're just, and if you can make $5,000 a day for 20 days, now I'm going to make another mistake. I think that's 100,000 for the month. And if you could do that 12 months a year, that's 1.2 million. It's nice volume. And you do it on multiple stocks. I mean, you're right, science rules. My arithmetic was wrong. It's a game of pennies or half pennies or hay pennies. 29th was supposed to be a decision on Alpine. I believe, Barry, it's the judge's decision on the stay that Alpine requested, halting FINRA's decision to expel Alpine. If the judge rules against Alpine, I think FINRA's decision to expel will be reinstated. Simultaneously, Alpine has either asked the SEC or the SEC has to approve FINRA's decision. I put it out. It's April 5th. I think the one risk we all have is that the lawyer resigned from Alpine. So that gives Alpine the defense to go into the judge and tell her, we don't have any counsel. And she says, all right, you got 6 more months. Personally, I think she's going to say take a hike because you're just wasting the court's time. But there's always risks in court. You do not know, Barry, what judges are going to decide. You do not know what motions are going to be made. You do not know what delays. But the 29th is the judge's decision. And then if she denies Alpine its request, I believe FINRA then will say, we expel Alpine. Then, and I'm not a lawyer, I'm just reading what I saw, then Alpine will either go to the SEC or it's just automatic that the SEC has to approve FINRA's decision. That deadline was extended to April 5th, which is next week. Thank you, Claire. You're in Cape Town. Wow, 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 wow. I heard there's no power in South Africa. South Africa. I don't know much new on the SEC situation with Alpine other than what I just said. I think it's April 5th is their time frame. Ryan Bianchi. It would be great to see it. That's a great idea, Ryan. If we got a professional studio to do commercials, my vote would be to get Samuel L. Jackson and get him to look into the camera and say, what is in your account? You know how he says, what is in your wallet? I'd love him to say, what is in your account? And everyone goes, what is in my account? VO Warrior, I don't know, I guess you weren't there. It wasn't very long ago. But GTII ran up to 897 very, very quickly. It might have been caused by Lou's recommendation in part. It might have been the cumulative effect of other recommendations. But my vote goes that it was the action before the court, whichever court it is, I really don't know, that the NSCC brought against Alpine, and the DTCC joined in, and that was September of last year, saying that Alpine had a concentrated position. They were, I forget the word right now as I'm talking, they were in default. That's not the right word. In arrears is not the right word. Deficient might be the right, I just can't remember. But anyway, the other thing that I think was happening is the warrants were causing, GTII issued warrants as a special dividend. The system stuffed your accounts with fake warrants, counterfeit warrants. In order to exercise them, they had to go through the transfer agent. They had to be real shares. We were having a squeeze going on with Fidelity paying 1,000% to borrow real shares, and Wells Fargo taking away the buy button, other brokerage firms slow walking. There was a squeeze on in GTII. Everybody decided to go into another stock. Well, I mean, it's America. Used to be a free country, and almost certainly every day is a new day. You just got to start where you are. So we are where we are now. But it happened very quickly, and all I can tell you, the move to 897 felt like we were going to break out. It didn't happen. They came in and fought it. I don't think they're going to be able to fight it next time. And the next time it goes to 9, it might go to 13, and then it might go to 21, and next thing you know, it's $55 a share. Jenny L., I like your description for your daughters, doing what they oughter. Science, which bridge is it? I'm looking for a good bridge. Yeah, I love The Awakening, Jay Roach. Look, it's hard concepts to process, but I think if you start with the fact, in my judgment, that the system is designed to fleece you, to strip you of your money, and there's nobody good in it. The best anyone does is, the best people, all they do is look the other way. And the worst, they're active in criminality. You'll always be ahead of the game. Lose a. There's Volk's Toy King. Volk's Toy King. I was trying to remember that after we got off the call. I still couldn't remember it. Welcome back. Well, VO, it ran really well, and it is a casino, even worse than a casino. The casino gives you odds in the 60-40 range to them. With this, your odds of making money are 10%, 5%, absolutely zero. If you buy and hold an over-the-counter stock as an investment, you're not going to make money, and it's a tragedy. Oh, you're going to retire this year? You have to set up. I watched a movie on Reggie Jackson, It was a good documentary. But in the beginning, he turns all his cars around, pointing out of the garage for the power picture. You'll have to do that with your VWs. I don't know. Big Al, I think the ETFs allow you to um, allow them to use you as fodder. That's Brett, right, Brett? FINRA protects the stealers, not the squealers. What are you saying, M? I can't see MK's. That is how many of us got into MMTLP, William. I don't know what you mean, but if you were listening to me, yeah, I thought it was a good chance for a squeeze. I still think that, and I say it to you right now, I think NextBridge is worth a minimum of $100 a share right now. So I think your purchase, whatever you paid for it, is at least 10x. But if they don't let it trade and they continue to lawyer it out, the lawyers will take a lot of that value. But I stand by my feeling that NextBridge is worth a lot compared to what you paid for MMTLP. Yeah, I hope so too, MKC. Um, Gregory Prince, we need MMTLP to reconcile soon. I'm sure the broker dealers want to kick the can. Of course they do. That's Wall Street. You kick your losses down the road. You book your profits every quarter, pay yourselves out, and you just keep kicking it down the road. Look, you guys use the example of Bernie Madoff. That's what he did. That's a good point. Volks Toy King. Torch was a penny stock. That's true. But it when I was introduced to Torchlight, it was, I don't know about $10, but it was 7 or 8. How do I know I paid that much? Why is all the news about the dollar dropping? Well, it's all coming out. It's this is something that I studied quite a bit and predicted for a long time. People used to think I was a Looney Tune, but now everyone's talking about it. The biggest reason the dollar's going to drop is that we are running massive debts. We have no choice. We're a debt-based system. We're creating money out of thin air-based system. And I think that's why you're seeing the corruption everywhere. I think the U.S. military can win World War II. I'm not sure it can win World War III. And in fact, one could argue that we have not won a war since World War II. So I think the dollar is under pressure because we have, unique in the world, when we need something, we want to build our military, we want to give free tuition, free student loans to Democratic voters, we want to bail out our Democratic donors at SVB Bank, we want to make sure Blankfein at Goldman Sachs is wealthier than any man in history. We want to make sure Joe Biden's son his behavior is not reported in the news. So we buy off the press. We want to make sure the big pharma who have donated to us, that we mandate the purchase of their their product that is experimental, but we'll subsidize it. We want to get rid of Trump. We'll shut down the economy for a year and a half and allow China to print ballots and ship them in and have them delivered by the truckload in Georgia and elsewhere. And we get rid of Trump. And how will we pay for it all? We'll just print money. Just print money. Just print money. Just print money. And then when we need to rescue the economy, we'll just lower interest rates, which prints money. We'll when the banks get upside down because they're focused on woke, ESG, and other issues rather than risk management, and the woman running risk management is proud of her LGBTQZ policies rather than she doesn't even have a brain to understand. If you put your portfolio, lock it up with 10 years duration at 1%, and you hold your deposits that have to be refunded in short term, there could be a time when everybody wants their money and interest rates are up and you have losses. She doesn't have a brain for that, but she does know that white men are the problem. So as long as you can get everyone that looks like everyone else, things will be nirvana. Rather than looking on merit, and I'm sure it's a lot of people that look differently. I'm sure, but hire people that know what they're doing with risk management when you run a bank. It's not a playground. It's not going to tea and making sure everyone sits in the right place at the table. And hey, we did a lot of work today. It's hard work. Keeping a bank's balance sheet safe. But when it goes upside down, we'll rescue it. And then in the process, we'll cause a run on the bank of every other bank in the country. And we'll print money for that. So you ask, why is the dollar down? Because the current, it's clueless. Janet Yellen should not be Secretary of Treasury. The guy that runs SEC shouldn't be there. The vice president doesn't do any work and is way overmatched. Way overmatched. The recent Supreme Court justice appointee, way over her head. Congress doesn't know what it's doing. They're all corrupt. We lost our bases. You know, the whole new American century was about putting land-based aircraft carriers in the Middle East. We spent trillions on it. We spent trillions on it. And a lot of lives. Biden came in and ran away. I'm not saying I did not support the wars, but we walked away. So whatever your politics are, I don't care. But what does it mean to the rest of the world? Saudi Arabia is making fun of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris on national TV. China is settling peace between Saudi Arabia and Iran. And as General McGregor said, it's not about power for China. It's about telling the Middle East that American power, U.S. power, is kaput. You're free. You can have peace. And you wonder why the dollar's going down? Supply chains are breaking up. We have a war with Russia because Hillary Clinton lost an election, but she had to is our enemy. So as a society, we've decided that we're going to turn on the one superpower that has more nuclear weapons than we do. And guess what? They've developed a hypersonic missile in such quantities that we don't have it. It flies at 5 or 8, maybe more times the speed of sound. And it could, if they wanted to, they could take out every single one of our floating aircraft carriers at the same time, and we have no defense. You wonder why the dollar's going down? But I tell you what, the good thing is we don't have tweets anymore, and we got rid of that odious Vanderhoovel calls him. After all, he said that women at these parties, for a tall billionaire, young, cameras followed him everywhere, news followed him everywhere, single man on the party scene. He said that women let him grab them by their yum-yum. The President of the United States actually physically assaulted a legislative aide when he was senator, and the young woman was trusting him, barely out of her original family, 23 years old, something like that. And he digitally inserted, but no one cares about that. And you wonder why the dollar's going down? The United States of America is a joke on the national stage. And there's no strategy. No strategy. That's why the dollar's going down. We don't exercise our power around the world. We have insane policies. Insane policies. If a man that looked like me did to children what our school system is doing to children, that man would be arrested for sexual abuse. That man would be put away for the rest of his life. But because it's teachers doing it, women mostly, it's okay. It's okay to go to 5-year-olds and tell them, oh, you should be a boy or you should be a girl. We've lost our way. That's why the dollar's in trouble. What do we offer the world? China, while we were bombing the Middle East, China was locking up economic contracts in South America, Africa, Asia, all over the world. I forget what they call it, the belt, the something belt. And they got the largest copper mine in the world in Afghanistan after we invaded. Now they have airports there. But you know the one thing China doesn't do? They don't come in and tell the Saudi king how he has to live his life. They don't come into the Middle East and say, you should treat women differently. It's their culture. What's so great about our 50-year experiment with feminism? We have China Black making millions on fans only. We have Cardi B singing songs WAP to children. That's feminism? That's equality? That's progress? The rest of the world looks at us and jokes. Where are we headed? I don't know. I don't know why. And then our factories are in China, Mexico, Southeast Asia, Eastern Europe. Where's our productive capacity anymore? And we're about to tax our country. And all our answer is to print money. I don't know. Why would you own a dollar? Our banks are corrupt. Why would you own a dollar? I'm not sure I would ever want to own a dollar. The debt that we have is at 31 trillion and growing. Inflation is starting to go rampant. And by the way, if you think inflation like Venezuela or Rwanda or Argentina cannot happen here, you're dead wrong. You can have inflation here. The wealthy are getting wealthier. The people that own assets here are going to be fine. The rest of us are all schmucks. Why would you own dollars? Russia is doing business with oil with China in yuan. In yuan. They're selling oil and natural gas to China in yuan, not dollars, in yuan. So someday the writing's on the wall. We won't have the exorbitant privilege anymore, as Gerard D'Estaing called it. Or no, it wasn't he. It was it was Charles de Gaulle said that the United States has exorbitant privilege. When we want something, we just print money. Well, that's until people don't want to take our dollar anymore. So I think it's going to happen with all currencies, though. I think all currencies are going to be in trouble, with the possible exception, in my judgment, of the ruble, the yuan for a while, the Chinese renminbi, possibly. But they got some of their own problems, too. I can't think of another currency that I would want to own. Possibly the dirham in the UAE, if it were disengaged from the dollar. But I think soon it'll be pegged to the Chinese yuan. So why would you want to own a dollar? I don't know. I don't know why it's all in the news now. And it may be that they're trying to get us to do different things. I don't know. I'm not sure China has all the gold it wants yet. Russia, it may or may not be ready. They're doing a lot of treaties quickly, rapidly. But I think once China has all the gold it wants, it's sayonara for the dollar as the world's currency. And then I think you'll have a table somewhere, probably not in the United States. I don't know what would be a neutral ground. Singapore, maybe. It won't be an Anglo-American country. It has to be a relatively powerful country, though. I'm not sure it'd be China. Maybe Hong Kong. Maybe Hong Kong. Maybe in India. I doubt it would be in Moscow, but maybe. But it'll be somewhere. There'll be a conference, and they will debate the new basket of currencies based on how just like OPEC designed the quota they had based on reserves, so that Saudi Arabia's reserves are still 260 billion barrels of oil, and it's been that way since 1971 or 4. They've had 260 billion barrels of oil despite producing billions of barrels of oil. They sat at a table. They said, what are your reserves? And that's how the ratios worked out. I think the countries are going to sit at a table and they're going to say, how much gold do you have? That's the ratio of the new international currency. I think it's going to be the SDR, the special drawing rights. After reading several of James Rickard's books, it makes sense to me that it would be a something like the SDR. But I'm not sure China, Russia, Iran, India will trust the IMF. So there might be a new one designed. But there is no reason, there is simply no reason to hold dollars. I will say that I think the United States dollar will be the strongest currency in a panic, in a crisis, because we still have the deepest markets. But you're learning how corrupt the markets are. Do we really have, I don't remember the number, but I read, I think that there was $120 trillion worth of financial assets in American household wealth. Does it really exist, or is it 40% counterfeit? 60% counterfeit. Our banks are supposed to be the best in the world. Well, there was just idiocy upon it. This is the generation where 100 students graduated magna cum laude, or everyone that played softball got an award. They all think they're great and geniuses. No, they got lucky. They got lucky to live in a time when the economy was working well, when the world was largely safe, and I think protected by the United States of America mostly. And oil was cheap, and but life is going to get difficult. And I just don't know why you would own the dollars in that situation as an investment, as a temporary vehicle that you can use to buy precious metals, to buy resources, to buy a farm, to buy something you know about that I have no idea. Yeah, that makes sense. But your wealth, sometime in the next 10 years, your wealth is going to be, your position in the world is going to be a lot different. I don't think it's going to be, it doesn't mean we're going to be unhappy. We still have a great economy. We still have a great country. And we can still live well. It's just, we're not going to be able to abuse the rest of the world. And I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. But I don't see any reason. I mean, I would almost ask your question in reverse. Why, why hold the dollar? I don't know. But you do make a good point. Why is it all in the news now? Because for years no one talked about it. And I'd have to guess is it's the ridiculousness of the current administration that got more votes in the history of the United States than Hillary, than Obama. We have an ill-prepared government, and I think it's the laughingstock of the world. So that's my long answer. VO Warrior, just our luck. Once we become millionaires, the dollar is worthless. No, VO, I think you'll be able to own gold and silver. You could own copper. You could own, a farm that produces apples, and you'll be just fine. Whatever you spend $1 million on that's a productive asset will be worth $1 million in the new system. It just won't be called dollars. And, maybe it's worth $10 million, but the purchasing power is equivalent to what $1 million used to be. I don't know. Maybe we have a new currency. There's a U.S. dollar and a world dollar. I don't know. I think the ingredients are there. If the United States starts living up to its beliefs, living up to its creed, as Martin Luther King called it, living up to its Constitution and its protections, and the intelligence of its people, we could turn this around on a dime. But for some reason, we're turning against each other. My opinion, it's because Hillary Clinton got mad that she lost an election. And there's division. When Obama became president, there was a lot of unity in terms of the commonality of human beings. Once she lost the election, all of a sudden we started dividing everybody up. Well, that doesn't work to any of our advantage. It doesn't help any of us. If you want to see the United States as a zero-sum game, we're all going to go down. We're not a zero-sum game. We're a vibrant, growing economy, and there's room for each and every one of us. But we have to live up to the American dream and the American ideals, which is equality for everyone. quality of opportunity, quality of rights for everyone. Everyone has the same rights. But instead, there's this elite group that are getting extremely wealthy and powerful at our expense while we turn on each other. And we got to stop that. Uranium might be flying soon. Yeah, I almost, before the last crash, I almost financed some uranium. It's a very interesting story. There's a lot of demand for uranium. I've gone back and forth on nuclear power. I became convinced it was a good power for years, but now I'm again it. Lou Bravo, EUUP. I'm back in EUUUP. Hey, Lou Bravo. I don't know what I don't know what that is. EUUUP. I'll look it up. And I'm glad you're back on GTII. At least that's what I heard. I think that's great. I really do. Yeah, I'll stop my political rant after someone asks me why is I think the question is, why is the dollar going down? Cheers. Well, cheers. Cherry blossoms. John Smith Doe. Congress is the U.S. economic and foreign policy of military-industrial complex. The oil and gas and banking and real estate complex paid lousy. Yeah, but I think you left out a few. Pharmacies, the bankers. Maybe you said the bankers. Yeah, you said the bankers. But yeah, it's sad. Hey, Raymundo, you're probably right. Well, it's time for a good shot of scotch. I'm sorry, yeah, Skydog. And that's why Skydog, that I keep saying, and it's the concept, others say it, but you have to start thinking like a central bank, which is acquiring gold, silver, other assets like that, getting out of debt, although they just go into debt. It depends on, debt always depends on what you're buying with it. But yeah, you have to put yourself in a position. Yeah, all this equipment I bought isn't working. Well, we'll see if I can get it working tonight. Hey, NJ. Yeah, victim 4200. You can fool me once. Fool me once. Shame on you. Fool me twice. We ain't gonna get fooled again. Well, I don't know what else to tell you guys tonight. We got 20 minutes till 5, so you can tell I'm frustrated at my country right now, but I think we can grow up and still live out a great life ahead of all of you guys. Yeah, my mother's not doing so well. She's, thank you, Zizu. Uh, but it happens to everybody, I guess. But it's, bottom line, it looks like it's dementia or Alzheimer's or something like that. So it's, I don't know. That's the other weird thing about life. None of us want to die, but man, when we get old, our quality of life goes down. Living is a strange business. Yeah, crazy world. I've been frustrated since Bush, but I have to admit, even though I voted for him twice, I've really turned my opinion of Bill Clinton has just gone downward, and I don't know. I just miss statesmen. Yeah, thank you, Jenny L. Thank you, Zizu. She's had a good life. She's going to live a long time. That's the thing. But she's a long way away. She's in San Diego. So it's just, Anyway, there's a lot of helpful people, and it'll be okay. It'll be okay. Oh, Sooner Man. Yeah, God is in control. 5 years of Alzheimer's. It's crushing. My dad mostly kept his brain. It wasn't all there. He hated Trump. He would get so upset. And but you could still have great conversations with him, great memory. But he had other things. Oh, you're not far from San Diego? Well, I'm not going to respond to it anymore, so sorry. Thank you, Barbara. I, she had a good life, and she'll still have one, I think. Bye, bye, Mr. American Pie. Drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. When you're in public, scotch and whiskey. All right, here's Skydog. If these stock plays pay us in the millions, pay off all your debt, buy some gold and silver, put it in your safe, buy some crypto, put some cash in the safe, put some in the market, and well, there's one guy. His name is Jackass. Is it Willie? Trying to remember his name. He lives in Costa Rica. But he actually thinks that the dollar will go up and then disappear. So it might be going back to that question. Maybe they have us talking about it because they need dollars. It could be that. Maybe they need dollars. I heard somewhere that, and you guys would know the statistic, there's only $2 or $3 trillion worth of currency in the world. Maybe it was the dollar, but I think it was currency in the world. The rest is is all electronic. Doesn't it sound a little bit like our securities markets? Thank you, KYP. She would like that, and she's all right, Jenny L, you got to go. I'm only going to be on for 15 more minutes just to do penance for losing my cool on the dollar. Yeah, they can't print them all. They can't print enough, but it's a confidence game, Jay. And that's what I think they're trying to do with MMTLP and these other situations, is just buy time so we go back to our disinterest and they can keep stuffing our accounts. Because what do you care? You have an electronic entry in your account. What do you care if it's real stock or fake stock? As long as you can trade it. You don't know that. I'm sure they could do a study that the stock would be much, much higher if all the counterfeit shares didn't exist, diluting the price. You don't know that the corporate structure is all wacko. It's funny. All right, 22 J Dog. Thank you for maybe letting me know that I'm not totally insane. That's right. They will look confident. And then, hey, D Cartel. Noblesse oblige. It's been a while since you've graced our conversation. Yeah, Jay Roach. The one. Are you the one? Oh, is it at 250? Take me out for steak, dear. Let me look at if it's 250. I didn't realize that. You're right, 230 to 250 in after hours. Well, it used to be that market makers would move away from the bid and ask because they didn't really want to buy anything. In this case, they don't really want to sell more. But I think the stock's going up, and I think it's telling you it wants to go up. I think we've had our 2 or 3 or 4 days of resistance. And ask was over $5 last week. I don't remember that, but maybe. Yeah, we need to... the main thing about no, am I buying the dollar? No. But D Cartel, I think the main thing that I've said to people, it's hard to conceptualize, but I think for a while, right now, you know what's valuable in life. You know the houses, the streets, the parts of town that are valuable. You know the things of life that have value. I think it's and cash producing assets, for example. If an asset produces X amount of cash in dollars now, like an oil well, it'll produce that amount of value in whatever the next currency, the next iteration of currency is. So I just think you have to start looking at your wealth. You have to carefully own assets that are going to have value after the panic, after the after the everyone calls it a reset, but after the disaster that's going to happen when people realize that the emperor's wearing no clothes. GTII is asking 250, but it's not trading. But it's a good sign. Put me on the $3 bill. Yeah, Joe Seki, I have that desire too. I don't want to go out to pasture, but man, yeah, well, how much will 1-800 affect the price? Hey, Stephen, I don't think 1-800 will affect the price of the stock per se, other than keeping them from being able to suppress it. I mean, as an example, what if they put it under pressure and they just start using the cash flow to start buying back stock? That's right, Big Al. Every president except were all Manchurian candidates. Even Jimmy Carter. My name is Jimmy Carter. What's this? FBD. I don't know what FBD is. It's not FJB, so I don't know what it is. Well, let's see. What's this question? It's a reasonable one. Matchery, thanks for everything. I've noticed a lot of people on Twitter saying it's ludicrous that there are close to 3 million naked shorts. I don't know if you mean like ludicrous, it never should have been allowed to have happened, or ludicrous, it's impossible. But Matroy, I think news say GTI stock split 413. Of course not. There's no stock split coming in GTII. The news, FBD, the news came out today. Let me just look. There's no split coming in GTII. There's no split coming in GTII. It's just not going to happen. Lucky is sleeping. There's no split coming in GTII. There's not. Oh, that's not what the news says? What does it say? I'm sorry. It says... I don't see any news today on GTII. There's a report. Oh, it's the dividend? Let me go. Where is this news? Is it on Twitter? Because I don't see it. Yeah, Woody, I would love... I'm looking to see if there's news on that. No. No, there's no split coming. I think that's FUD. When is which dividend, Louis? Oh, it's on Stock Twits. I'll have to look over there. But there's no split on GTII. What was the question? I can't remember the question. Yeah, June Islip. That's what I think. They're out there being paid to spread misinformation. They must be proud of themselves. They can make a few $1,000s causing people to lose money. They must be proud. Oh, it could just be wrong. You're at the website? Oh, it's a different GTII. GTLL. Maybe you're talking about GTLL. Let me look. Poor GTLL. They took that lawyer on, and they settled, and boy, that wasn't pretty. Let me see if there's any news on GTLL. That's pretty smart. Someone figured that out, that it might be a different. They're at 0.0001, which is seller boxed, and it's just it just becomes hopeless. And it's a shame. It's not, they did everything they could. I don't see any news about a split there. But if you go to the company's statistics, they have 14.49 billion with a B, 14.49 billion with a B shares outstanding. That's GTLL. So a reverse split seems to make some sense. It won't help. Watch this. I have it here somewhere. I printed it out from a video I did, but I can probably find it again. Oh, I don't want to lose that story. Anyway, Kurt Kramer, the thing I wanted to find, Kurt Kramer did a toxic financing with GTLL. Phil Peters, did anyone have a rumor for 11-1 split for GTII? No, I'm just hearing it now. I think doesn't look like a good article. Roger Bjornerud. The 11-1 split was announced on Thursday. I just there isn't one. April 15th record date for what, Vancy? They announced this I'm having a blank on what the dividend was, but they did announce that, and they picked April 15th as a record date, but I'm not sure if it's not approved that's etched in stone yet. But yeah, it was the 15th. You're right, Vancy. Yeah, that sounds good. Oh, it could be that other GTII. You're the one that sells pot. It could be that one. There is a dividend. Let me look it up. Let me look up what the dividend is. I'm just having a brain freeze on the specific. There it is. GTII announced today, March 17th, that on March 17th, it submitted its corporate action request to FINRA to issue a 1-for-10 stock dividend. That's what it was. It was just escaping me. 1 for 10 to its shareholders. And that it set, after previously being approved by the board of directors, a record date of April 15th. But it, to the extent that it needs approval, that could still move around. But it's April 15th to get a 1 for 10 stock dividend that's restricted. Matt Kay is he's the kind of guy. I see you, Dylan. What am I supposed to look at? Yeah, Robert Kopecki. There is no reverse. That's right. Yeah, Matt Kay's the kind of, if you were a big, high-powered CEO with a big conference room, Matt would be the good guy, either to run the meeting or be sitting in the seat right next to the CEO. It's a bot, AI bots. It is restricted. It's not. They're not going to make the mistake that I accidentally happened with CLNV. It's yeah, exactly. That's what you do, Matt. Wow, MMAT. That's a good company, but maybe they need money, so the shorts are just destroying it. That's too bad. That's too bad. Well, anyway, it's 5:02. And I think today is a great day. It's a great day for GTII's trading. I'm just going to look at the stock chart and see if it I just think it's great. On that chart, you can see the gap here has been filled, and this is just so strong right there. But look at this right here. The 50-day is going to cross the 200-day moving average, and I just think it's going to be pounceable. I don't think there's a lot of resistance on any of these numbers after this. Yeah, Lou's welcome back for CRT is going to spin off the new company on Upstream, so already OG collected, now this new thing. Yeah, no, Brian, nah, I agree with you. I think Jeremy, I mean, he had an he has an interesting approach, but you're absolutely right. He's in this thing to fight, and the news today shows that he had something in mind, So he has his own strategy, and I think we have to go by it. So I think I'm going to sign off at 5. I know it's only 5 o'clock. but we're going to need to save our energy for when this runs. Tomorrow might be the day. It's a beautiful day out. I'm going to walk lucky, and I have to call California. Just going to call it early. John Smith, no, tomorrow Alpine, the prime broker. Yeah, I think tomorrow it does, John. And maybe they have a lifeline to the 5th because of the SEC. But you're right. Alpine's time is coming to a close. They'll probably say that they don't have legal counsel, so they'll ask for an extension. I don't think it'll fly. AD Cartel. I like the beard because it's like this happened to me. It happens to everyone. Yeah, anyway, let's not worry about it. We're bigger than that. So anyway, I'm gonna say goodnight, and I'll be back tomorrow, maybe earlier. Hopefully there's good news coming, and I really appreciate your understanding today, and we're gonna get them. 22J Dog. Get ready for another. Okay. Hey, Two Stones. All right. Anyway, thank you. Good night, everybody. Yeah, I gotta go. I gotta make my phone calls. So we'll have a great day tomorrow, and things are gonna be a lot more fun soon. So anyway, cheers, everyone.